The heat in my house, I don't know if it's because there's sun beaming out the window right now, so I apologize that's going to fuck up the lighting. That's why I like recording at night in the dark. The 25 millimeter lens is a good low light lens, and nothing changes, but the sun will constantly be moving clouds, and it changes, and it's disgusting. It's an eyesore. I like recording alone in the dark as well because the window is right behind the camera here, and I'm looking into 4 different units in the building across the parking lot, and it's just, they just see me doing this, and I hope they have a better image in their mind. They're like, oh, that guy might be onto something, but it's really depressing. At least I can see the judgment in real time when I record in the dark. There's a glare. I can't see into any of these units. Also, it's Tuesday afternoon, and they're probably working real jobs. I mean, granted, I do too, but I'm just off during the week. Glad that the 7-day, I kept saying historic run. It was pretty out of the ordinary. I don't know if it'll go down as historic. It felt historic at first. I couldn't believe I was doing it. I mean, I guess I could, just short videos. I couldn't believe that I was putting energy and time into it. I would come home straight from work. I would put off eating and surviving to do this. Just it was fun. It was a nice little field exercise. It was a way to just feel comfortable and riffing. I don't trust myself enough. Sometimes I've been very guilty. If you look at the longer episodes, very guilty and outline reliance. So it's nice to be able to count on myself as I should. I'm a funny guy. Although some of those episodes didn't feel funny, but it was also a thing I had to just, it did feel at the time, it felt like quantity and not so much quality, but I just had, it's Josh, you're an amateur podcaster. It's not going to be clip worthy. Not everything out of your mouth is going to be 100% backed by fandomship. It's not anything like that. Anybody that did like and subscribe, shout out to you all. Thank you so much. Shout out Eric Contreras, old friend from Ohio, rekindling a friendship. Thank you for the support, and I'm here on the other end if you need any of it. I did gain some subscribers. It seemed to benefit the algorithm. I don't know. I got some views, but then I did the analytics, and it said 1 minute and 43 seconds is the average viewership. So I don't know. I kind of want to find a happy median with posting short content, 15, 20 minutes. If I could do it daily, I would, but it was kind of giving me a headache. So maybe every other day, but yeah, I don't know. That's just my feelings on it. It was fun. I'm glad I did it. I've been wanting to do something like that for a long time, even with my old podcast, Half Completed Thoughts. But now, ladies and gentlemen, we have to talk about the pardons. The president gets to pardon people. I think it's only at the end. I mean, I don't know anything. I think things. I just don't know things, so to speak. President's pardoning people. I don't know if it's something he's always been allowed to do, or I feel like it always happens towards the end of the presidency, the lame duck period, which is, I don't know where that came from, but it definitely sounds American. I think it happens at the end, and then the president every year pardons a turkey, which is just not a funny joke. It's kind of like, I think, and again, I think things, I don't know things. I think he or she, if we were to have a female president, I think he pardons a real turkey that he sees in real life. I could be wrong, but I think he's like, it's just like a knee slap tradition. It's not funny. It's not. We're slaughtering these turkeys. And I'm not like PETA, or I don't know if that's what PETA fights for. But I'm not against slaughtering turkeys. I think we slaughter too many to only eat it once or twice a year. But I don't know. It's just not funny to me. I don't think it's supposed to be a joke, but I think it's definitely supposed to be like, oh, the president's being cute. That's adorable. And it's not. It's stupid. I feel like you're wasting a turkey's time. And I don't really consider the time and wasting time with animals, but that just screams wasting an animal's time just for a slow. I don't know. I don't support it. I think he should never be brought up again. I typed in, have presidents always been allowed to pardon? And there was no AI generated response, so it wasn't meant to be. It was time to move on. Sometimes people ask questions, and I say I don't know, because I sometimes I truly just don't care. It's not something I want to invest time in, and I can see it reflecting onto the other person that asked the question. Their face, it's just like they're intrigued and they're disappointed that I didn't even like infer anything. I just said I don't know, and I was content. I'm okay with not knowing things, but I rely on so heavily on being lazy. No AI generated response. Oh, it's time to move on. My curiosity is absolutely shot because of AI and because of the internet. If I don't have the answer in 2 seconds, it's not worth investigating. The Diddy files, Epstein list, it's not worth it. I'll walk amongst these predators, and I guess I'm not saying I want to, but I guess I'm okay with it. I guess I can die. I guess that's just how it is. I guess there's some fucked up people with a lot of money just kind of human trafficking and getting blowjobs from and hand jobs from underage women or barely legal, and I guess there's they turn these women into aspiring masseuses, and they don't want to be aspiring masseuses, and I don't know. I'm sure that speaks volumes. I would love to put that to rest. I would love. I just don't have time to sleuth. I got life. The average life is pretty mundane, and I got to add some flair in my own life. I don't need to whistle blow. I don't need to put a case to bed, and my curiosity is shot. It's like, ooh, that sucks, but I'm not gonna further look into it. But I think the biggest, to get back on the pardon, I think the biggest pardon that we're all, I don't think we're shocked. I don't think anybody's outraged, but Joe Biden pardons his son. And Hunter Biden, I've never, who even is this guy? I've heard his name so much, and I just don't know a thing. I know there's a laptop, and I know MAGA and Republicans were obsessed with this laptop. But Hunter, like, I literally have not had any curiosity to be like, who is this guy? And while I did some research, and Hunter was the #1 baby name in 2020. Everyone said we're going to name our child, whether it's a boy or girl, Hunter. It's kind of a unisex name, although I don't think I would gel well with a woman named Hunter. It's not her fault. I mean, I guess it's her fault to where she gets of an age. She can change her name. But who am I to speak? Josh, that's such a... women... Sometimes women will say J names. I will never date a J name. And I take a little offense to that. It's not fair. My name's Josh. I've never felt like I needed to change that name for Josh, but because my name is Josh, and because Josh is such a white people, and white people are extremely predictable in some ways and unpredictable in others. It's interesting. White people are very interesting for worse and not better. So because my name's Josh, because I've never felt the need to change it, I'm sort of this ambassador for Josh. When somebody says, yes, Josh cheated on me with my sister. He caused a rift in this family. We hate each other. We avoid each other. Our parents still make us get together for the holidays. It sucks. One of us is a conniving bitch. I cope with it by drinking, and I've started experimenting with drugs here and there. Caused a very slippery slope in my behavior because of this man named Josh. So by that nature, I'm an ambassador for other Joshes. I'm like, we're not all like that. That's all I can say, and it's helpless. We're not all like that. We're all not like that. Maybe we are. And then I start to question predestination. Was somebody whose parents named somebody Josh, Jacob, Brad? But let's focus on J names. Josh, are they supposed to be pieces of shit? I don't know. I hope not. I don't want to look at it. but I'm open to predestination. I guess I'm just asking all the other Joshes to cool it for a moment and think about your actions, because you're giving me a bad rap. And then that's funneling into J names like Jerry and Jack and some of these old school names. It's just exhausting to just exist with the name. My life is so hard. I'm sorry. Hunter was not the number one baby name in 2020, by the way. That'd be funny if it was. So I did some research on Hunter Biden, and it literally just sounds like this man is the last of a dying breed, really. He's a survivor of a tragic family car accident. He avoided federal taxes. It was a hefty number, like $1.3 million in 3 years. He abuses alcohol and drugs. He's been in and out of rehab. Takes a liking to prostitutes, strippers, and external marital affairs. He's fucked his brother's widow. He spent some time as an artist. He bought a gun completely whacked out of his mind. Business interests in Ukraine and China that I guess deserve some speculation. And of course that leads into the laptop, and the list just truly goes on. I wouldn't even be surprised if he's even fucked poor Jill Biden. That's not his mom. I don't think that's out of the question. If he hasn't fucked Jill Biden, he has at the very least made a pass. I'm very curious. It's these things that are just out of reach. That's where my curiosity begins to spark. I have no leads on this, and I never will have leads on this, but I want to know. Like, I will not die peacefully unless if I know if Hunter Biden made a pass at Jill Biden, how she reacted to it. She's, even at whatever age she is, it'd be hard not to make a pass. She's a very decent looking woman at the age she is. I wish, after I record and finish this, I want to pull up Jill Biden in her prime. Her maiden name. I'm sure she was a doll. I'm sure she was a looker, very easy on the eyes. When you interfuse crack and alcohol and your life spiraling out of control, Jill Biden is still a fuckable woman. And it's not always good to be fuckable, but I think the older you get and you're fuckable, that's very impressive, and it becomes kind of endearing. And I think when you mix crack and just the bad life decisions, there's no doubt in my mind, at very minimum, Hunter Biden in private made a pass at Jill Biden. And, I don't think it's even out of the question to say in private. Like, I just feel like he could be I don't know. I really don't know. I haven't investigated too much, but given past behavior and just inferring on the situation, I feel like Hunter Biden has probably made some disrespectful remarks to his father. The list goes on with all these Hunter Biden controversies. The list truly just reads. It reads like he's the boss's son. That's literally everything: artists, prostitutes, strippers, affairs, alcohol, drugs. Like, it just reads as if he's the boss's son. It was just before the boss was ever the boss, which is kind of impressive on behalf of both Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. Joe Biden has to become president, and his whole kid has lived the life of a fucking rock star, a very controversial, and Joe Biden maybe the election was rigged, I don't know, but he made it. He saw the tape. It happened. He became the boss, and Hunter Biden has this just impeccable stat sheet of just the most horrific shit, and it's just very admirable, really. And does Hunter Biden sound like an objective piece of shit? Sure. But someone is his father, and that someone just happens to be the president of the United States and has the power to pardon him. That's just how it goes. That speaks volumes as well. So even if Hunter Biden did make a pass at his stepmother, Jill Biden, even if it was in front of Joe, he still did the fatherly thing. He's like, oh, he's still blood. He's still my son. Hunter Biden could be locked up for eating gay black men in Milwaukee. He's still going to visit his son. He's still going to love his son. And that's just your duty as a parent. Your kid has just a very impressive, for worse and not better, stat sheet, and you still love him. That is being a man. That is being a father. That is what you're supposed to do. I work in hotels, and I've stored luggage, and I've actually had the great pleasure and privilege to store Hunter Biden's laptop. No luggage, just the laptop, and I write him a claim check. He comes back in the lobby, says, I would like to retrieve. He referred to his laptop as his crack machine, which threw me for a loop. It raised a lot of questions. Does he only use the laptop to buy crack? And how is he buying it? What I presume is off the internet. I don't know, but he called it a crack machine. Now, as president, would I pardon anybody? Probably not. Yeah, it just, it causes a lot of speculation. How many pardons does the president get? I feel like I've heard the answer before. It can't be like infinite. It's got to be a decent enough number. I truly think Hunter Biden is just misunderstood. I think Hunter Biden needs to sell his life rights immediately so we get a movie out of this. It's fascinating. He needs to also sell his life's rights before he runs dry. I don't think this memoir he put out is enough to do it, to get the needle moving. I think Hunter Biden is very vulnerable to being in a bind. His hands are tied. He gets the well very dry very quickly. I think he needs to sell his life rights before he's out sucking cock for crack. I don't want to punch down on Hunter Biden, but I don't think it's out of the question. I don't know if he's clean and sober. And I don't know. He needs to sell his life's rights so the story's told correctly. I think there has been a movie about Hunter Biden, or at least it was in the works, and maybe it got shelved. I don't know. I didn't do too much research on it. But there's going to be an interview for an actor after his Oscar-winning performance, because Hunter Biden will sell his life rights so the story is told correctly, and there's no spin on it, and there's no subjectiveness. And then they're going to ask the actor, how did you prepare for this role? He's going to say, well, to really step in the mind of Hunter Biden, I think it was sort of meant to be because I've had a similar life. My biological mother passed away when I was very young, and my father remarried, and she just happened to be a hot piece of ass. So I fucked my stepmother and made my father watch. And at that moment, I knew I was Hunter Biden. I was capable of doing the things this man has been documented to do. And if Hunter Biden doesn't want to compromise his integrity and sell his life rights, that's fine. But he needs to do something. He needs to do Cameo. I think Matt Gaetz and Hunter Biden on Cameo would single-handedly be the best thing ever to exist. I think that would be the birth of my last vice. I would literally go broke. I would have to kill myself because I'm giving all Matt Gaetz and Hunter Biden all my money. But I would have the best last 2 months of my life, truly, just every penny I made until I went broke. Just going to Matt Gaetz and Hunter Biden and maybe trying to say, hey, Hunter Biden, Matt Gaetz said this. What's your response to this? Here's $700. Hunter Biden needs to get on Cameo. I think it would be better to hear Hunter's story through the slipping cracks anyways. We don't necessarily need a movie. I would like a movie. I would love to spend 2.5 hours just watching Hunter Biden's life. I think he's a very fascinating person, and we don't need an accurate, objective narrative. Let the most interesting person in American history tell the tale by mistake. He lets out these little truths, and they slip through the cracks, and then that's where the internet sleuths come, and they piece together the story with the red string. I think he should do it. I think he needs to tell a story on Cameo by mistake for $700 a pop. My number would literally be blocked by all my friends and family. I have an addictive personality. I would be begging them, will you please chip in for another Hunter Biden cameo? This is probably the most interesting thing I could put any money to, and I'm not getting solid black and white answers. I'm getting Hunter Biden's even his own spin is worth a lot of money. I just don't think Hunter Biden can just fade away from the public, even if that's what's recommended for his safety and health. I don't know. Podcast. Get back into art. Please, for the love of God, Hunter Biden, do Cameo. Something. And I beg of you, you need the last act of your life to be just as interesting as the first two. It's truly impressive. If you can pull this off and you are a headline for the remaining 20, 30 years of your life, Hunter Biden, you are without a doubt the undisputed heavyweight greatest American, oh, maybe not greatest American, but most interesting person in American history. And I promise you that. And I'm so invested. If I had a projection or a prediction and it said, Josh, the podcast thing, you can do it all you want. The comedy thing, you can do it all you want. You're not going to see any money from it. Then I would say I would accept my fate, and I think I would be a Hunter Biden stan. I need the last 20, 30 years of this guy's life to be just as remarkable as the first 50. I would make a stan account. I'd have the latest updates, the paparazzi shots, opinions posted of his friends and foe. I would do it all. I would be the biggest Hunter Biden stan, and I'd give the most accurate updates. It would be I would not want to steer potential interest in Hunter Biden. I would not want to put a bad spin on it. I'd tell it how it is. I think any picture ever of Hunter Biden is not a good picture of Hunter Biden. I unfortunately, and that's just how it goes, he always looks like sort of skeevy. And as a matter of fact, he looks less skeevy of a still frame from a video of him smoking crack than a picture of him in a suit smiling. It looks like he's supposed to be smoking crack and being skeevy and scheming and he just has this devilish look. And so lean into that, Hunter. Please. America is begging. True Americans are begging that of you. Get high. Make cameos. It would be the easiest money you've ever seen. I truly think Hunter Biden on Cameo, with the power of the internet, I think you would revenue a ridiculous amount of money. And hopefully you pay taxes on it and whatever. But sure, getting high in art would be less incriminating, less direct, and you could still tell your story. But we want to see you make an honest buck being the truest form of yourself. And I truly think all of this, all of what I just said, if Hunter Biden doesn't do a podcast, Cameo, incriminate himself, I think that would be just an absolute waste of a pardon if you didn't do so. I don't think that's fair. I think this guy is truly wired to be kind of like a John McAfee type, just kind of this revolutionary, contrarian badass who on paper, if you're the president's son or a politician's son, you should probably be good. But also, I've said this, I'll die on a hill saying this, politicians are crooked. So who the fuck is surprised when their sons have a stat sheet like Hunter Biden? I think Hunter Biden is good for anti-establishment. Not saying that that's what I want and that's what I want to live in, but I think people have too much faith in establishment, and I think they don't know they're being lied to, and that's upsetting. And this election cycle truly broke me. I think this would be good for Cameo. I think the two guys who probably, and I don't know if this is fact, I don't know if Cameo was a team of people, but when Matt Gaetz got on Cameo, I bet they woke up to a text and saying, oh shit, we got to get back to work. We made this laughable app that we only thought that the lowest of celebrities would lean into, and it was like we could, but now we have to rent space, we have to run a headquarters correctly. They're probably working other jobs. Cameo is just kind of something they did as sort of a joke. At least I hope that. I seriously hope if Cameo was created by two guys, that they didn't just think like this was the future, because just on paper the idea is extremely laughable. If you get a giant like Matt Gaetz or Hunter Biden on it, that you would have to create headquarters and take the business seriously. The app is no longer laughable. These giants in the faces of Cameo and just dominating the app, and that if you let the app go to shit and run the company into the ground, then we don't get crazy, outlandish, I can't believe Matt Gaetz, I can't believe Hunter Biden is saying this shit for $500, $700 a pop. I truly, please, Hunter Biden, for the sake of the creators of Cameo, get them out of their day jobs and create a headquarters. You're creating jobs, Hunter Biden. if you get on Cameo, Cameo becomes the number one app because of you. It's not a hard sell. I think you'd be foolish in wasting your pardon if you didn't do something. It doesn't have to be Cameo, but it needs to be as vitalizing as it sounds. I'm excited about this. I want, and I'm not like saying this to punch down on Hunter Biden and saying I want him to incriminate himself, but I want him to be the face, and I want him in on the joke. I don't want him to not be in on the joke. I truly think I'm fascinated by this man. Hunter Biden, you please be the first guest of Afternoon Glory. I unfortunately, I know you're very money motivated. I don't have anything, but for the interest of the American public, of the podcasting platforms, it would just be a disservice if you didn't go around telling the story how it should be, answering the hard questions. Truly admirable, Hunter Biden. I've fixated on Hunter Biden. What Elon Musk is to Donald Trump, I want to be to Hunter Biden. Granted, I'm not some tech guy with a lot of money. As a matter of fact, I'm hardly a guy with a little bit of money. But Hunter Biden, you are truly remarkable, and anybody that doesn't see eye to eye with it, they're just, they don't understand you like I understand you. So go ahead and make my line bling, HB. And in the meantime, that concludes the 7-day run. I'm officially a content creator, guys. And it doesn't feel good. I think I have an idea how I want to do the podcast going forward and what I have to offer just by doing these silly videos for a week. And I'm looking forward to doing more. So hopefully I'll post sooner than later. But for now, I have about 12 more hours of my day off. And I'm going to clean the house and reheat some pizza. And I will see you for the true next episode of Afternoon Glory. Thank you, guys.